God of War Ragnarok launches on PCs on September 19th. NVIDIA RTX 5090 new rumored specs have been leaked. Intel's next-gen Skymont efficient core details have been leaked out. And lastly, alleged AMD Ryzen 9000 desktop Gen 5 specs has been leaked. Alright, so firstly we have the God of War Ragnarok will be launching on PCs on September 19th with FSR 3.1, DLSS 3.7 and XeSS 1.2 support. So the game will be launching just like the Ghost of Tsushima, and also it will be requiring PSN account requirement for God of War Ragnarok. Now, question is, PSN account isn't available in multiple countries. They don't have it in the whole world, so that's a big problem. But they will be launching God of War Ragnarok on PCs in September 19th, so that's a good news. And also the upscaling tech will be included, including the AMD FSR 3.1, NVIDIA DLSS 3.7, and Intel XeSS 1.3. So that is pretty neat. So yeah, in the official blog post of PlayStation, we get to see the God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC. So yeah, that's a really good news here, but the only problem is that you would require PSN account, and as I've already said, most of the countries do not support PSN. So what's going on here, Sony? I don't understand, but I guess, you know, most of the people will be relying on cracked games, which I do not recommend. But you know, if Sony's gonna behave like that, I guess that's the only option, right? Even though that is piracy, so we shouldn't really go with that. Wink wink. So yeah, the features that obvious will be coming with is the unlocked frame rate, so you can have more than 60 FPS experience, and hopefully the PC port of this game would be just like the Ghost of Tsushima, because Ghost of Tsushima was a huge success for the PC launch. It was smooth in terms of gameplay, so I'm hoping it would utilize the same PC port, hoping that they would use the same one, because Ghost of Tsushima worked out pretty good. So God of War Ragnarok might also work out pretty good if they stay with the same PC port, so we'll see about that. They're also introducing the super ultra wide widescreen support, so that is pretty neat. 21:9 ratio and the 32:9 ratio, so that is pretty good. If you have a ultra wide monitor, then that's gonna be very much effective, although the performance might vary. But even then, if you have an ultra wide, you might also have a 4090 in it. So it will also include God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC, so of course the game will be coming with all of them, so that's really good, including the new game plus. So yeah, that's pretty neat. And of course the digital deluxe edition will be included with the purchase, so yeah, not bad. The only thing we can hope for now is a better PC port and a good price. Hopefully that would be the case. Just one thing for sure, PC port should be good, and they have to think about the PSN support. They have to remove it, or they have to enable the PSN support around the globe, otherwise people will just crack the game. That's not good for the business. Next up we have the RTX 5090 has a rumored specs, and this time we're looking at around 28GB of GDDR7 and 448-bit bus. So is it really accurate? So in the Chipotle forum there is a question that user asked, which is, was the news of 512-bit a rumor early, and how early was it? Didn't you say 384-bit later? So this user replies with, the information is that it's 512-bit, which was the rumored, but 5090 is 448 bits. So yeah, it's not gonna be 512, it's much narrower. Well, not too much, 448 bits of bus, so that's not really a narrow bus, but 512 should have been the case, because, you know, top of the line card, or maybe they're planning for something else, the 512 bits. We don't know for sure. So if that is the case, 448 alongside with the memory bandwidth, which was already leaked, which was 1568 gigabytes per second, that would mean that the memory speed would be 28 Gbps, resulting in a memory of 28 gigabytes. So that would be the case here, if also this is rumored. So yeah, that should be the case. If memory bus is 448 bits and the memory bandwidth is 1568, that should mean that the memory should be 28 gigabytes, and we already know that it's going to be GDDR7, no doubt about that. So these are the information that we are getting for now, and there's our other two rumor specs, which is still take it as a grain of salt, because we don't really know if that is the case, which is the total SM is going to be less than 192. I think that is the case, because look at 4090 FE 128, so around 192 kind of makes sense. As for the CUDA cores, it also would mean that it's going to be around 24,576, so we'll see about that. So yeah, 28 gigabytes of GDDR7 is packing some serious VRAM, that's for sure. Next up, we have another leak. This is coming from Intel, however, which is the Skymont, Intel's next generation efficient CPU, and basically the efficient core has been leaked out. So in Twitter, HXL has basically leaked this information coming from a source which has been deleted already, but well, we know the leakers, they've already got the information. So all the information coming from all these slides, as you can already see, someone literally posted the slide on Weibo forum, so that is a bummer. This is literally coming from the embargo, so yeah, I don't know what they were really thinking about it. And there's some Chinese written here which I can't really translate, but the user HXL, the leaker, of course, has leaked out this information, or basically translated this information, which is it's gonna be the Skymont Intel next generation CPU, and we can see is that the 9-wide decode, 8 integer ALU, and 2-digit IPC. So what does that mean? Basically it means that the decode unit will be 9 wide, of course, and the ALU will be 8 integer ALU per core, of course, and the 2-digit IPC, you can already tell. IPC increase will be double than the previous predecessor, we should call it the Crestmont, I think. So the Crestmont IPC increase will be doubled, and that would be the Skymont IPC increase. So that is pretty neat, not gonna lie, it is pretty neat. Double the IPC increase, it really is something. Also, the compute tile will be based on the N3B node, I think that would be the case, and the SoC style would be on 6 nanometers. Basically that is the information we're getting here. So these are not so bad information. Surprisingly, it leaked out so early. So yeah, in the Lunar Lake, CPUs will be releasing soon enough, and of course the efficient cores are based on Skymont, so Skymont will be releasing with the Lunar Lake, no doubt about that. So the first launch will be on October or maybe November, I am not sure, but around that time we'll have our first laptops based on the Skymont CPUs or Lunar Lake. So that is the information we get here. If the IPC increase in 2 digits, so that is pretty good. And lastly, we have some serious leaks, again CPU based leaks, of course, and this time coming from Aorus X8070 leaks are here. Basically the chipset, Aorus X870 chipset, has been leaked. Well, not leaked, they are releasing it soon enough, but with that we have the Ryzen 9 9950X leaks coming out. The Twitter user at WXNot basically leaked this information, and these are some serious information, so we're gonna look through it because these are a lot of information. Hopefully we don't have to look the whole thing. This is a slide, and I'm not gonna zoom into that because this becomes that. So anyway, so this is the AMD 8000 series, of course, the AMD 8000 series of motherboard from Aorus, basically X870 will be releasing for the AMD Ryzen 9000 CPUs, and yeah, it will be LGA 1851. As you can see right over here, it says LGA 1851. If you can't see it properly, maybe I'll zoom into that, but still it might get blurry, but I'll say it, LGA 1851 that you're seeing here. So as you can see, it says the granite rich CPU, which is of course the 9000 series of CPUs, and it says Ryzen 9 9950X, Ryzen 9 9900X, the Ryzen 7 9700X, and the Ryzen 5 9600, which is common names, of course, that is not a big deal. But we do have one particular CPU detail here, which is up to 16 core 32 threads, the TDP going up to 65 to 170. So these are the range of TDP we're looking at here. So all this information is quite blurry. We can't really take anything for granted here. Probably it is a leaked information, but it is quite blurry, so you can't really see it properly. But we don't really have to worry about it because we have another information coming from Code Commando here, and well, basically all the information is here, so let's look into it. So the Ryzen 7 9700X, you can already tell, coming with 8 core 16 thread, 5.5 GHz max boost, that is going beyond 5 GHz, still not reaching 6 GHz. AMD needs to work on that really, but I guess their CPUs are not performing that bad, so I guess that's pretty good. The L3 cache has been improved for sure, 40 megabytes of course, and 65 was TDP for the 9700X. For the 9600X, we're looking at 6 core 12 threads, 5.4 GHz of boost, 38 megabytes of an L3 cache, 65 was TDP, and this particular TDP however goes up to 170. I think this is probably the first time we're seeing that, from 125 to 170 for the Ryzen 9 9950X, 16 core 32 threads, 5.7 GHz, that is the one that is closest to 6 GHz, and a whopping 80 megabytes of L3 cache. That is a lot of packing of cache, that's for sure. 170 watts, that kind of makes sense why they're going for this kind of spec, because 5.7 boost is no joke, of course, and 170 watts kind of makes sense based on what we've seen from AMD. And the Ryzen 9 9900X going up to 5.6 GHz of max boost, 12 cores, 24 threads, that is no doubt about that. And the L3 cache is just a shy below of 7 76 megabytes, so that is not bad, close to the 9950X, so kind of makes sense. And the TDP is 120 watts. Still, I think it's higher than the previous generation. So yeah, 120 watts TDP for the 9900X and 170 watts TDP for the 9950X. So these leaks confirm that the higher wattage gain, higher wattage consumption is kind of valid for the upcoming granite-rich CPUs, the Ryzen 9000 series. So all in all, we get to see this particular table here, and yeah, these are the all information that we have all together. We do know that the iGPU will be 2 CUs for every processors. Not gonna be that much crazy just for the connectivity for the iGPU, that's it. RDNA 2, however, they're including, which is kind of strange. Why do we have to include RDNA 2? Can we not just move into RDNA 3? But I guess they'll stay with the RDNA 2, I guess, as it isn't really focusing on the APU aspect anyway. So yeah,